Good morning. I'm Joe Nigro, CEO of Constellation. On behalf of Constellation, I would really like to welcome you to the opening of the new Exelon building here at Harbor Point. Honestly, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here today. It's been a lot of hard work to get to this point, and I think the place looks amazing. This 900,000 square foot building will serve as Constellation's headquarters. Constellation is Exelon's competitive and retail wholesale business. We have more than 1,500 employees in the building, including Constellation's 1,100 employees here in Baltimore, as well as employees from our parent company, Exelon. Planning for this building began years ago in 2011 when Exelon proposed its merger with Constellation, so we're very pleased now to finally make it our home. Joining me this morning and serving as our MC is Michael Cryer, president of the Cryer Group. Mike has been a part of this building since the beginning and has worked with Exelon and Constellation to help complete the merger and has continued working with us to ensure we had a great representation of diverse and local suppliers partnering with us on the building's construction. In addition, Mike is a member of the BG&E and Pepco Holdings Board of Directors, and as a Baltimore City resident and active civic leader, has been instrumental in helping lead this great city into its brighter future. Before I hand the mic over to Mike, I'm going to say that again. I'm also honored to have the opportunity to introduce Chris Crane, President and Chief Executive Officer of Exelon Corporation. Chris has been the leader of the company since he took over the helm in 2012 when we completed the merger of the two companies. Since that time, he's grown the business into a thriving Fortune 100 company with a commitment to driving innovation, clean energy, and meaningful community partnerships. Chris's leadership has been instrumental in the expansion of the Exelon presence in Maryland and our strong commitments to the city of Baltimore, the state of Maryland, and all the customers and communities that we serve here. Please join me in welcoming both Michael Cryer and Chris Crane, and now I'll turn it over to Michael Cryer. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that introduction. But the first thing I want to do is just clap. This is a very special moment for Exelon and for Baltimore and for all of what we anticipate to be the future of our city. This is no small moment. And while there is much to do as we pursue a greater level of shared prosperity for all of the citizens of our city, this is an integral component to making that happen. The extent to which we have been collaborative, working with community, ensuring that minority and women and veteran-owned businesses have been actively engaged in the building of this facility. It is central to what we define partnership to look like and to feel like. So we are especially grateful to the level of participation that we've seen all through this process. Today we're going to hear from and sort of celebrate and acknowledge the work of many of the people who have had something to do with this process. Obviously, many of the distinguished leaders behind me have been central to that, but you can imagine that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have been very important in the process of making this building happen. But before we get into hearing what they have to say, I'd like to acknowledge Michael Beatty. Michael, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Beatty. Michael led the development of this building and Harbor Point and has much more in store for this side of town, and we're very grateful for your contributions and what you've done to make this happen. We appreciate it. Chris and I were talking. It's been more than 5 years. We sat in an office in Chicago on the 54th floor of the Exelon headquarters, talking about whether or not, first of all, whether we should even do the deal, right? And then, what then should we do to ensure that the quality of the deal benefited larger numbers of people in the city? And this building was one of the key components to making that case. Chris and Exelon, I think, did an excellent job of doing two things. One, they promised to deliver a world-class, state-of-the-art building, a building that ensured that getting it built reflected that participation of all the people and the components that we talked about, a building that would be friendly to the environment, and a building that would contribute to the economic development of our city. Chris, promise made, promise kept.
Thank you, Michael and Joe. Appreciate it. I'd like to start by thanking all of our speakers behind us, which every one of them was critically involved in the success of this building. Governor Hogan, Senator Cardin, Congressman Cummings, Mayor Rawlings-Blake, Lori Schwartz with the President of the Waterfront Partnership, and Tony Hill, Managing Partner for Edwards & Hill, which is part of our office furniture layout. This has been a fantastic journey. It's been a learning journey, but it's been a journey that has created many partnerships within the community. To all our state and local leaders that are here today, I want to emphasize our appreciation for you taking a bet on us and supporting us in this endeavor, and everything you do to make Baltimore and Maryland a better place. I agree with those who say something special happened here. It really has. If you look around the waterfront, you feel a great sense of vitality with all the buildings that are coming up, the residential locations, the retail locations, and what that can mean to the economy that for the customers we serve is fantastic. This is our home, too. It's a major stake that we've put in supporting the community going forward. Not just for us, but everybody that depends on it. For us to deliver our commitments, promote local development, and be a good corporate citizen in this city and in the state. Exelon is proud to be a major economic engine of Baltimore and Maryland. About 7,500 Exelon employees work in Maryland, and 4,700 of those employees work in the city of Baltimore. We pump $1 billion into the state economy and Exelon payroll each year, and we serve more than 2 million customers in Maryland through our 3 Maryland utilities. We also serve 300,000 more customers on the retail side from Constellation that will be managed right out of this building you're in here now. The Exelon utilities, the 3 Exelon utilities in the state of Maryland over the next 5 years will be investing $6.7 billion into our system to strengthen the infrastructure, drive more resilient service for our customers, and make us more productive as we provide our product to the customers.
Was that 6.7 billion?
What I said? 6.7 billion. And out of that 6.7 billion, we will be using $2 billion directly to Maryland-based suppliers and vendors. We support the local and state governments and taxes to the tune of $520 million each year. And this building, it was part of the commitment to Baltimore and to Maryland. It has among more than 200 community and environmental commitments that were made when we did one of the 200 community and environmental commitments that we made when we merged with Constellation in 2012. Since our merger, we've done what we promised and improved the performance of BGE, developed new sources of clean energy here in Maryland, and continue to support thousands of jobs. Following the merger with BGE, Calvin and his team have risen the performance of that utility to the highest record of reliability and customer satisfaction ever. Can't leave Calvin out. We strive to deliver the same performance as we make the improvements at Pepco, Maryland, and Delmarva. Last year, we contributed more than $8 million to organizations in the state of Maryland. We will continue to that level going forward, plus the same amount that Pepco and Delmarva have continued to bring into the community. This building is a symbol of growth that we're supporting this great city and state. The people working in this building run the #1 competitive retail electric provider in the country. And they're the 8th largest in the country on sales of natural gas, and that is nationwide. We are one of the top 10 renewable energy companies in the country. We'll be managed out of this building. And Constellation is the state's largest solar provider today. Exelon's clean generation represents over half of the generation in the state of Illinois, but it is 98% of the carbon-free state of Maryland. It is 98% of the carbon-free energy in this state, including the 200 megawatts of wind that we're developing as part of our commitments. Our aim for this building project is to make the new Constellation headquarters a catalyst of economic development and business growth in this region in Baltimore, and I think we can see that's already happening from the tower cranes outside and the work that's happening. During every phase of this project, we work to maximize the economic value that we could create for the community and have community participation along the way. Together with Michael's development organization and many other partners, this project employed 5,300 people during the construction phase. More than 150 different companies participated just in the interior build-out. And to expand opportunities here in Baltimore, we provided 450 to the Centers for Urban Family and Jobs of the Future to fund job readiness and training programs to give low-income, unemployment residents within the city a job with a living wage. Graduates of these programs that have been underway during this construction have learned building trades and now have a meaningful work throughout the city. One of them, Warren Hill, I'm not sure if Warren's here. Warren is here today, and I'd ask him to stand and thank you. Thank you for participating in the program. He found a job with a company that worked on this building, and we thank you for the job well done. It's a reflection on you. I'd also like to thank Joe Jones for the CEO of the Center of Urban Families, who has been a vital partner in this training program to help in the city's workforce. So we do believe that a healthy community is a healthy company, and anything we can do to support that, we're here to do. Exelon is eager to continue to fund job training programs that were the same that brought Warren here today. Our commitment to job development and being a leading urban corporate citizen is critical. We also support the community in driving economic growth by doing business with local diverse companies. More than 70%, I think it was mentioned, more than 70% of the total spend for this building was with minority and or women-owned business enterprises. That took a lot of work, not only from our supply folks at Exelon, but with Michael in the partnership and the commitment to the community. The Exelon interior building was designed to meet the LEED Platinum standards, the highest level LEED ranking. When we achieve the certification next year, this will be the largest LEED Platinum building in Maryland, and we believe on the Atlantic coast. The building will use 50% less energy and 40% less than our former location. There are many examples of creativity and sustainability that you'll see on your tour today. And I hope you have time to tour around. Focusing on creating economic opportunity and getting the environment details right was an important part to us because it says something about the company that we are and the employees that we have. Exelon is the economic engine powering our communities. We have, and we are helping lead the transition to a cleaner, brighter future. The work that will be done in this building will be a significant part to be making that goal. So I'd like to thank you very much for being here and turn it over to Governor Hogan.
That's all right. We can't expect you to build a building and follow the directions on the program at the same time. just too much to ask for a CEO company. But as Chris mentioned, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support of many of the leaders who are standing behind us. Our elected leaders have been extraordinary in this. And certainly among the list of leaders who have been extraordinary has been our governor. Governor Larry Hogan was elected the 62nd governor of Maryland on January 21st, 2015. And Governor Hogan, since taking office, has worked very hard to grow Maryland's private sector and to add more jobs and create a more business-friendly future for our state. His focus is on improving the quality of life of Marylanders, making it easier to live, work, raise a family, and retire with the goal of changing our state for the better. Governor, we're very glad that you're here. We're even happier that you're well. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you today. I want to begin by congratulating Chris Crane and everyone involved in this exciting achievement for Exelon, for Constellation, for Baltimore, and for the state of Maryland. The top priority of our administration has been on economic development, and we're focused on trying to grow the private sector and create more jobs for our citizens. And we've been making some pretty good strides. Last year was the best year for business in Maryland in 15 years. We've added more than 76,000 private sector jobs, making 2015 the best year for job growth in Maryland in 15 years. Before I became governor in 2014, Maryland's state economy by the federal government was ranked 49th out of 50 states, total overall economic performance. I'm pleased to report to you that now, according to the federal government, our state economy has surged to number 11 in the nation. Which is the biggest economic improvement of any state in the United States of America. And it's quite a turnaround, one that our team is incredibly proud of. But we're just getting started, and there's a lot more hard work to be done, which is why I'm so happy to be here with you today to celebrate the grand opening of Exelon's new Constellation headquarters here at Harbor Point. It's definitely the best part of my job, is getting a chance to see businesses grow and expand their footprint here in Maryland. And it is particularly exciting to see a Fortune 100 energy company, the best utility company in the nation, make such a long-term commitment and long-term investment in the future of our state's largest and most important city. And as was mentioned, 70% of the total project spending on this beautiful 21-story building went to minority and women-owned businesses. More than 5,300 people were put to work during the construction. Thousands of jobs are supported by the suppliers and vendors who contributed to it. More than 1,500 employees will work in this building on an ongoing basis. And Exelon also contributed $450,000 to programs to provide low-income and unemployed Baltimore City residents with critical job skills and training, giving them the ability to compete for jobs here. So with this project, Exelon has sent a powerful message that along with developing clean energy technology and enhancing our state's energy security, Exelon is also committed to putting down roots here in Baltimore City and committed to giving back to our communities. This state-of-the-art new headquarters will showcase Exelon's technology and sustainability, and I have no doubt that it will also have a tremendous positive effect on development here in the city of Baltimore. Today's grand opening is yet another example that Maryland is indeed open for business. In Exelon, we see the kind of commitment and dedication that will ensure the success of Baltimore's comeback. I want to thank you again for the opportunity to be here today, and I want to congratulate everyone who had anything to do with making this important project become a reality. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Governor Hogan. We are very grateful that you're here. We know we had to leave, but you were here, and that's important. Here in Maryland, we are fortunate to have two members of our Congress who understand what it means and what it takes to deliver on behalf of our state. Senator Ben Cardin and Congressman Elijah Cummings. Senator Cardin is a third-generation Marylander. His focus always is to ensure that the federal government is attentive to the issues of unique concern to the people who live and work in Maryland. He has worked across party lines. I got to stop and say that again. He works across party lines. Lord, hear us today. But he works across party lines to further our national security and protect universal human rights. He is the ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and a senior member of the Environment and Public Works Committee. And as a member of the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, he has worked to find better ways to provide access to credit for qualified small businesses and entrepreneurs, as well as expanding access to contracts for women-owned, minority-owned, and veteran-owned businesses. Representative Cummings is often referred to as the conscience of the United States Congress. A strong civic leader born in Baltimore, he has dedicated his public service to uplifting and empowering the people he is sworn to represent. His focus has been to ensure that our next generation has access to quality health care and education, clear, clean air and water, and a strong economy defined by fiscal responsibility. He is a ranking member of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. And during the unrest that shook our city, he played an instrumental role in helping to bring calm and peace during a very difficult time. Both Senator Cardin and Congressman Cummings understand and appreciate what this new building means to Baltimore and the effort to revitalize our city. I welcome Senator Cardin and then Representative Cummings to the podium to share their thoughts. Senator.
Elijah Cummings and I would both agree that we're very proud of the work that Michael Cryer does for our community. So, Michael, thank you for everything you've done to expand opportunity in our city. And to Joe and Chris, first, congratulations. And Chris, you ran through a lot of numbers. And I'm glad Michael stopped you on that one that was a really shattering number of $6 billion. Each of those numbers mean an awful lot to us. And we want to make sure that people understand. You pointed out Warren Hill. That's one person. You just saw a smile on his face. What you're doing today is going to put a smile on a lot of people's faces. This is big news for Baltimore. It's great for our economy, and it's great for our future. So we don't want to just gloss over what you just said. It's sunk in to many of us that this is going to affect the lives of a lot of people in our city, in our state, in our region. And Exelon's going to continue to be one of the great leaders in America on energy, which is critically important to America's future. So this is a very important moment. I'm glad that Governor Hogan was here. He's a strong proponent of the public-private partnerships. That's how we have to grow. And also, Mike, I might point out, the elections will end on Tuesday night, and we have to come together as a nation to get things done for America. So let me take you back a few years. I could start with Baltimore Chrome Works, but let me take you back to Allied Chemical. When this facility was a chrome facility, and I was elected to the United States House of Representatives. A year or two before, Allied had shuttered the facility because we weren't using chrome any longer on car bumpers, and there was no longer an economic need for that activity. We took a tour. I was following in Barbara Mikulski's footsteps in the House of Representatives, and our congressional delegation took a tour of the Allied facility, deciding whether we could ever get this piece of property back into economic use here in our region. Chris, there were a lot of challenges, a lot of challenges. And Elijah Cummings was a major player in figuring out ways that we could overcome those obstacles. Our congressional team worked as a team. And we worked with the Environmental Protection Agency, and we developed a cooperative effort so that we could make this property, the prime location in our inner harbor, have the use that would help us in Baltimore's future. I remember getting a call, Elijah, when I was in Washington, telling me that there was reported a major fire on this property as they were doing the cleanup. And I came here, Madam Mayor, at that time and took a look, and it was a dark day. But out of those ashes, Baltimore's future has been made much stronger. And I want to acknowledge the extraordinary leadership of our Mayor, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake. She understands that this is Baltimore's future. This is big news. Out of those ashes, we now have a regional headquarters for a Fortune 100 company. That's big news, everyone. That really is big news. And Chris, I understand that this is more than just bricks and mortar. It is. Although $160 million of bricks and mortar is pretty important. But it's more than that. I remember the commitment that Exelon made during the merger stages. And that commitment, not only did they carry it out, but the spirit of their commitment to Baltimore is even stronger. They recognize that they can make a difference, and they have made a difference in so many ways. So we recognize, yes, this is about jobs, good paying jobs here in our community, but it's also a magnet for additional development. My wife Myrna and I frequently walk the Inner Harbor. We do it as a way of exercise, but also to see what is happening. And we've been following the development of this building, but also so much more that's happening. The residential development, restaurants, what's happening not only at Harbor Point and Harbor East. This is so exciting for our future. And it has been sparked by the commitment of Exelon, and for that we are very, very grateful. I'm proud to be part of your team. I congratulate you on this milestone, and we look forward, Mr. Beatty, to some additional developments, many more additional developments that will be coming in our region, and we know that it's going to be hard to top this one, but I know you have some good ideas in the future. Congratulations.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here this morning, and I must tell you that I've taken these few moments off the campaign trail, and I made it clear to my staff I would not miss this event. And to Mike and to Chris, let me tell you why. When I see corporate citizens like Constellation and Exelon, who consider it a priority to raise up a young man like Mr. Hill so that he could do for his family. And I tell you, Chris, when I came up on the elevator, he was on the elevator with me. I didn't know who he was, but he said, I'm so proud that I was a part of this. I'm so proud that I can bring my 6-year-old and point this building out to my 6-year-old and say, I had something to do with this. Give him a hand. Shut up. I, like Senator Cardin, I have to take a moment. When I got here today, I talked to many people before we got started. And Madam Mayor, your ears should have been burning. Because just about everybody said we could not have done this. We could not have done this without the mayor. She forged ahead. She gave it everything she had. And as I've told her many, many times, while she may leave office right now, her fingerprint shall be on the future of Baltimore for many, many years to come, even when we're dancing with the angels. Please, give her another hand. Chris, as I heard you speak, I was so touched because I understood why you, Constellation, Exelon, fully have accepted something that I say often. Our diversity is not our problem. Our diversity is our promise. And if it's anybody, Chris, who epitomizes that, it's you, and it's Calvin Butler. When I first met Calvin, he said, I'm going to make sure that diversity is a hallmark of whatever we do. And Calvin, I want to thank you from the depths of my heart for all that you have done. Thank you. I've said many times that Baltimore, particularly after the disturbances, I said that people in Congress would come up to me and ask the question, how is Baltimore going to do? Is Baltimore falling apart? Where's Baltimore going? And Mike, I would say to them, Baltimore's going to be fine. That's not the question. The question is whether all of Baltimore will rise together. And this facility, this effort, what you are doing here today says that not only do you care about energy, not only do you care about creating a LEED Platinum building, but you care about lifting up all of Baltimore. That's what this is all about. This is so much bigger than the building. That's why I would not miss this. And this becomes example, Chris, this becomes an example for not only the country, but the world, to show how when government comes together, when Governor Hogan comes together with a Mayor Rawlings, and when a Senator Cardin and a Senator Mikulski and others work so hard so that government comes and our city council comes together and works with private industry, we're able to produce great things, great jobs, great opportunities, and a beacon of light. So to every single person involved in this, I thank you. I thank you for touching the future. I thank you for the boards that, Michael, I know you worked hard on all of this. The boards that made all of this possible. And again, I don't want this moment to go by without us understanding and realizing the significance of the moment. And so when we do like Ben does, walking the inner harbor and looking out, we'll be able to look out and see those beautiful, I like the sign, by the way, Exelon. And we'll know that it has so much more meaning than just a building, so much more meaning than just energy, so much more meaning than a corporation. But it'll be a symbol of a good corporate citizen that touched a city at a critical moment and helped change the trajectory of its destiny. May God bless.
He's always good. Always good. Hate to follow him. Always good. Our mayor is known not only in Baltimore, but nationally for her role as Secretary of the National of the Democratic National Committee and as the former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. She is the youngest person to ever serve as Baltimore City Council president, and as mayor, has worked tirelessly to support the city and the many growing businesses here, including Exelon and Constellation. She was pivotal in her efforts to help make this new building and the development of Harbor Point a reality, and was a strong leader in helping facilitate the development of this beautiful facility that we're in today. Thanks to her leadership, Baltimore has continued to host some of the nation's most well-known companies while creating jobs and millions of dollars in economic development. Though she has decided that this will be her last term as mayor, she continues to work to help ensure that our city heals and grows. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our distinguished mayor, Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, my friend.
Mike, thank you so much for the very kind introduction. And if you think you don't like going behind Elijah, and then, we have Minister Cardin back there who's imagine my life for the past several years. and we were talking earlier, this is an emotional day for so many reasons. It is a great day, and I know how blessed I am, Chris, to be a leader in our city at a time where I get to actually stand in buildings, in developments around our city, and not just in the inner harbor, but around our city. But for the work of, and everything is a partnership, don't get me wrong, but it feels good when you get to, you know that but for the advocacy and the work of your administration, these things wouldn't happen. And this is one of them. It was my vision that when there were those that were fighting against my administration on the TIF funding, I knew that this was possible. I didn't know Mr. Hill's smile was going to be so big, but I knew that when we fight for inclusion, when we fight for opportunity, that smile was possible. And I swear I need a selfie with you, because for everyone who's been peddling this notion that there are these two Baltimores and we can't rise together, I will show them your face, because it gives me an enormous sense of pride to know that in this development, in the casino, and what's going on down in Port Covington and around the city, there are people who have been, as the congressman says all the time, the trajectory of their life and their legacy has changed because of the work that we have done here together. We know that often failure has, when something goes wrong, people look at only one person to blame. But we know that success has many authors, and I'm just glad to be able to write my name among them for this project. I don't have to give you all my staff has about 10 pages worth of speech talking about, oh, yeah, you did it, you know, facts and figures and how much went to this and how many jobs went to that. You've heard it already, and I'm grateful to be down in the program so I don't have to repeat it. But I want to echo something that Congressman Cummings said. When we get this right, it means that Baltimore will grow for generations to come. So for those of you who were in the trenches on this very difficult road, Calvin, you know how in Beatty, you know, if nobody else knows, you know, the challenges that we faced. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for believing that investment in Baltimore made sense, and thank you for making sense of this investment for Baltimore. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate your remarks and being here. Our last two speakers have also played key roles in the effort to bring this new building and Exelon space to life as committed partners. Laurie Schwartz has dedicated her career to helping to make Baltimore an even better place to live and to work. In the early 1980s, she helped the city and area businesses to start Downtown Partnership and served as its president for over 15 years. She was a valued voice, providing expert insights and guidance to the waterfront property owners, waterfront area attractions, and the city of Baltimore, helping to start the Waterfront Partnership of Baltimore, for which she is now president. Tony Hill is managing partner of Edward & Hill Office Furniture, certified minority business enterprise, specializing in interior furnishings for commercial buildings to deliver well-crafted yet functional workspaces that help encourage individuals to do their very best work. He knows firsthand the value that small and minority-owned businesses can bring to companies like Exelon and to the fabric of a growing city. I welcome to the podium first Laurie and then Tony to share their thoughts. Laurie, thank you.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Chris and Joe, for inviting me to be a part of this event today. I'm incredibly humbled to be on the same stage as you two and our leaders of our state and our city. Thank you so much. And thanks to Calvin Butler, a strong partner of Waterfront Partnerships as well. I, too, am going to boil down my comments and not wanting to repeat anything. But Waterfront Partnership is excited to have worked with Exelon to help bring them to this site and to help make a home for them. We provide clean and safe and landscaping services, and we'll be greeting all of their employees every day and creating events along with BD Development to keep them entertained at lunchtime and after work. We've heard a lot about sustainability today and the deep commitment that Exelon has to sustainability. But I just want to talk about two other very quick examples, more on the ground than the building. First, everybody knows Mr. Trash Wheel. He's world-renowned. He was #1 on Reddit 3 times, and a video of him on YouTube was viewed over 1.5 million times. He's like more popular than anything I know. He's a good friend, and we all take him for granted. But few know that Mr. Trash Wheel wouldn't even been born without the commitment of Exelon in stepping forward to fund the Trash Wheel along with the Maryland Port Administration. We've got Professor Trash Wheel going in next month and another 2 already in the plan. So we want to first recognize Exelon for their commitment to clean water in funding the Trash Wheel, and also Exelon volunteers, employee volunteers, are among our most loyal oyster gardeners. They've grown an estimated 50,000 oysters to date. That's in 4 years. They were with us from the beginning of the program, which filter up to 2.5 million gallons of water every day. So thank you, Exelon, for your commitments to cleaning up our water. Second is cleaner air. Over the last year, Exelon worked very closely with us and other partners, along with BD Development, to create a transportation strategy that didn't rely as much on driving your individual cars or driving alone in your cars to work. And through a creative arrangement, City DOT, and thanks to Mayor Rawlings-Blake's support, have funded a shuttle for the Harbor East and Harbor Point areas. We've been marketing it and helping to administer it, and I can tell you that Exelon employees, Exelon and Constellation employees, make up 90% of those shuttle riders. So those are cars off the street, which lessens the congestion and also has the great value of having cleaner air because those cars are not on the street. So I want to thank you for your commitments to clean water and clean air. Those are just 2 commitments that reflect Exelon's consistent commitment to Baltimore, which is overall extremely profound. You can just look from the building. If you can look that way, you'll be able to see their commitment to Living Classrooms Foundation, hundreds of trees planted within the watershed, Pierce's Park, a novel park over on Pier 5, and even the Inter Harbor Ice Rink, which, although it's 80 degrees today, it's opening a week from today, again, thanks to Exelon. So thank you, Exelon, and welcome to you.
All right. I've been accused of having the gift of gab, and I don't know what to say because everybody said what I was going to say, being last on the list here. But I'm just going to speak from the heart very quickly here. First, I want to say thank you, Michael, for your leadership from the very beginning when Exelon came to town. And I, for one, am not very surprised that we're standing here today because I have the privilege of knowing the people who stand behind us here. And when you talk about a group of committed people, we've got the creme de la creme right here across the board. So I'm not surprised at all that we're standing here today. But I do want to thank all of you for coming here today. I'm going to kind of cherry pick through what wasn't said here today. What I did want to say was that for me, this is commitment made good. And by that I mean when Exelon came to town, I talked to a number of folks, Calvin, the pleasure of meeting Chris, talking to him, and this is what they said they would do from the beginning to the end, no gaps. And that's a commitment that you oftentimes don't get. You hear it a lot, but it's not always followed through on. This is commitment, it's done. It's really powerful because you've got a community partner here, or corporate partner actually, who is so focused on the community. This building probably has a little bit more of a different meaning to me than some, because I'm a native Baltimorean. I was born and raised about 10 minutes from here, so I've seen a lot of the changes over time, good and bad. And when you see something like this happen, it really does my heart good, because it is going to mean continued improvement of the community, continued environmental protection of the community, continued infusion of economic resources in the community. And that, of course, is huge. When I did meet Chris a couple of years ago, after talking to him for a very short period of time, it was clear that he had instilled in his organization from the top down that diversity is important and it actually helps everybody. And when you see the amount of diverse businesses that participated on this project alone, it's nothing short of outstanding. So thank you and your team for having the vision, and more important than having the vision, again, following through on it. Edwards & Hill Office Furniture, we're very proud, along with our partners, of having been a part of putting in a lot of the furniture that some of you may have seen or will see as you go on your tour. And it really was huge for us. It took our company to a new level. We were able to actually hire additional employees. We were able to forge partnerships that will help us grow down the road as well. So this is, again, more than just a building, but I do want to thank everybody here for your leadership. And finally, I want to say that it's a winning formula for everybody. When corporate partners are not only engaged in the community, but invested in all facets of the community, as Exelon is, from vendors to nonprofits to the actual residents that are being served, you can't lose. So congratulations to Exelon and congratulations to Baltimore. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie, and Tony, we thank you for your comments and for your contributions. Now we're going to open the floor for just a very few moments for media, for those of you who may have questions. Well, thank you very much for those questions. Are there questions? Hearing none, legitimately, I assume there are no questions. So with that, I'd like for you to know that for those of you who are interested in taking a tour, I think the media, since you didn't have questions, you probably are ready to take the tour.